At CERN, deep beneath the surface of Europe, scientists began a new experiment. But this time, they weren't searching for particles or answers. They were searching for something that shouldn't exist. In the depths of CERN's collider, something unexpected appeared. Not energy, not radiation, but a shadow. A fragment of darkness that absorbed every light around it. They called it a trace of dark matter. But what they didn't know is that it was watching back. They called it the black core. No one could explain how it formed a gravitational anomaly smaller than a fist, yet heavier than a mountain. Against every warning, they decided to experiment. To observe. To touch the darkness and learn what it hides. Moments after the experiment, the Earth trembled. Instruments failed. Lights flickered. A pulse spread across the planet, an electromagnetic wave so strong it silenced satellites and darkened entire cities. For one brief second, the world forgot how to breathe. After the wave, strange things began to happen. Clocks drifted seconds, no longer matched each other. Birds migrated at night. Shadows moved even when the light stood still. In laboratories, computers displayed equations no one had written. And deep beneath CERN, the black core pulsed again. He woke up, surrounded by trees, the air heavy and silent. The ground beneath him was damp, covered with fallen leaves, but he couldn't remember how he got there. His name, his purpose, even the sky above felt unfamiliar. And somewhere, deep in the forest, something was calling his name. He wandered through the forest, the trees thinning with every step. In the distance, the faint hum of an engine. Then, he saw it. A road cutting through the silence, empty and endless. The road led him through empty fields and silent towns. No signs, no voices, just wind and dust. He walked for hours, but nothing looked familiar. It was as if the world had forgotten him. He walked through the heart of a forgotten city. Skyscrapers stood like hollow giants, their windows shattered, streets drowned in silence. Every step echoed through the emptiness, as if the city itself was holding its breath. He spotted a house at the edge of the street. The same porch, the same cracked window, the same tired roof. It looked like home. It felt like a memory. Pulled by something he couldn't name, he left the road and walked toward the door. He knocked once, twice. Only rain answered, drumming on the porch, seeping into the wood. Minutes stretched thin, still no movement inside. So he waited, breath steady, eyes on the door, as if patience itself might wake the house. The door creaked open. There, standing in the faint glow of the porch light, was his father. The same face, the same eyes, but older, worn, as if a decade had passed overnight. His heart froze. The man before him looked real, yet impossibly wrong. The old man's voice trembled. "Who are you?" The young man stepped closer, rain dripping from his hood. "Dad, it's me. Don't you recognize me?" But the father's eyes filled with fear. "I don't know you, son. Please, leave." And with that, the door began to close, slow, hesitant, final. The young man's breath quickened. He pushed past the old man, stepping into the dimly lit house. "Mom?" He called out, his voice echoing through empty rooms. But there was only silence. The old man's anger broke through the quiet. "Get out! Get out of my house!" His voice trembling between fear and rage. He stepped back into the rain, his heart heavy. The streets were empty, only the sound of water and the hum of distant lights. He walked aimlessly, no idea where to go or what was real anymore. All he knew was that something had changed. He found an old park, silent, forgotten. Rain dripped through the swings as he sat beneath the shelter. Tears mixed with the rain on his face. No family, no warmth, just the echo of what once was. Morning came, though. The sky stayed dark. He wandered through silent streets, hunger clawing at him. From old bins, he gathered scraps, shaking, disgusted. But survival left no pride, only the will to keep breathing. He walked the long road back, rain easing to a cold mist. Through the fogged window, he saw the old man calmly watching television, as if nothing had happened. The same house, the same man. But something about the silence felt wrong. Too still, too familiar. A sudden noise escaped his step, a crunch in the wet gravel. Inside, the old man's head turned sharply. For a moment, their eyes nearly met through the window. Then, panic, the old man grabbed the phone, his trembling hand dialing for help. Flashing lights cut through the rain. Hands grabbed him, cold metal locked around his wrists. He tried to speak. "It's a mistake. Please." But no one listened. The world had already decided he was guilty. He sat under the harsh white light of the interrogation room. Water dripped from his sleeves as the officer leaned forward. "Who are you?" the cop demanded. "Your ID isn't you. Your name's not in any record." The young man's voice broke. "I don't understand. I am me." He tried to explain about the house, the man inside, the memories. "He's my father," he said. "But..." He looked older, 10 years older. The officers exchanged uneasy glances. "Son," one finally said, "that man's been living alone for 15 years. They didn't believe him. No fingerprints, no records, no past. So they locked him away, just another ghost in the system. Behind cold steel bars, he stared at the dark ceiling, whispering to himself. If that's not my world, then whose is this? Days passed. Then the cell door opened. You're free to go, one officer said, his tone unreadable. But as the young man stepped into the rain once more, he knew. Freedom was just another cage, and eyes were still watching. He walked until the city lights faded behind him. The rain had stopped, but the air still carried its weight. He found a quiet place, an empty bench beneath a flickering streetlight. For the first time in days, he sat still, trying to remember who he was before the world forgot. A faint hum broke the silence. He looked up. A small drone hovered above, its red light blinking in the fog. For a heartbeat, it just stared, recording. Then it darted away into the night. He ran, heart pounding, lungs burning. The city vanished behind him as he stumbled into the forest, mud splashing under every step. He didn't care where he was going, only that he had to keep moving. Back there was prison. Ahead was the unknown. He slowed down, gasping for air, his chest burning. Rain dripped from his hood as he pressed his back against a tree. Every sound felt louder. The wind, the rustling leaves, his heartbeat. For a moment, he closed his eyes, trying to believe he was safe. He froze. The forest around him shimmered, reality bending like ripples in water. A pulse of light burst open before him, swirling into a black vortex. Through it, he saw the impossible, the glowing corridors of CERN. He reached out, but before his fingers touched the light, it vanished, leaving only silence. He stood frozen in the rain, his mind racing. The lab he'd just seen, the same as in the news, the same as in his dreams. Could everything, the lost memories, the time shifts, his father all trace back to CERN? He whispered to himself. Maybe. It all started there. On a neon-lit street, a shop window TV crackled to life. Urgent broadcast. Lab corridors flashed on screen. Alarms wailed. His chest tightened. I have to get there, he whispered and ran. He spotted an old sedan, door half open. Under the wheel, wires spark, crackle ignition. The engine coughed to life. He slammed the gas, tires hissing on wet asphalt, racing toward the only lead he had, CERN. The highway blurred under the rain. In the rearview, flashing blue and red. Sirens rose, multiplying. He gripped the wheel, heart spiking. They'd found him. Again, he yanked the wheel hard. The car shot off the road and into the trees, branches scraping metal. Headlights off, engine killed. Sirens swept past the highway, and the forest swallowed him whole. The engine coughed, then died. Steam rose from the hood as the forest fell silent. He stepped out, breath fogging in the cold air. The sirens were gone, but his road wasn't over yet. CERN was close. He could feel it. He reached CERN by night. Fences, cameras, patrols, no way in. So he crawled to the ventilation shafts, pried the grate, and slipped inside. Metal echoed under his breath as he moved through the dark toward the heart of the lab. He stumbled into a dim corridor, breath trembling. A scientist turned startled, confused. The young man fell to his knees, words spilling out between gasps. He begged for help, for someone to believe him. But as he spoke, the scientist's face slowly turned pale, as if he'd heard this story before. The scientist shook his head, panic flickering in his eyes. You don't understand, he said. Creating a black hole isn't like turning on a machine. It could destroy everything. But the young man grabbed his coat, desperate. It's already here, he cried. I saw it in the forest. It's real. 1 day ago, he said. The scientist's eyes widened. That's when the collider restarted. He swallowed. Then the forest wasn't an accident. It was a portal. The scientist rushed to the control panel, alarms humming around him. Go, he shouted. I'll open the link. The portal needs a catalyst. The young man hesitated, eyes wide. Run, the scientist yelled again, slamming the keys. Back to the forest. I'm doing this for you, now move. He ran through the dark woods, guided by memory and desperation. The trees opened to the clearing, the same place where it all began. He stopped, breathing hard, staring into the mist. Heart pounding, he whispered, Come on, open again. The air trembled, a low hum rising from the ground. Light cracked open the darkness, swirling like liquid fire. He stepped forward without hesitation into the heart of the storm. And, in a flash, the forest was gone. He was home. The air, on the other side, felt heavier, colder. He looked around. Everything was the same. Yet time had carved silence into every corner. Streetlights hummed faintly. Windows glowed with unfamiliar warmth. His legs carried him down the old path without thought, each step echoing memories of laughter, dinners, and stories that felt like another lifetime. When he reached the house, he stopped. The paint had faded, the mailbox leaned slightly, but it was home. He lifted his hand and knocked, once, twice. Footsteps. The door opened. His mother stood there, hair grayer, face thinner, eyes wide with disbelief. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then her hand rose slowly, trembling as if touching a ghost. "It's you. It's really you," she whispered, her voice cracking. Tears welled up in his eyes. "Mom, it's me. I'm home." She pulled him into her arms, clutching him tightly, as if afraid he'd vanish again. "I missed you so much," she cried. Behind her, his father appeared, frozen in shock. They told him it had been 5 years, 5 long years since he disappeared. The police had given up. The news had stopped asking questions. His photo, once everywhere, had become a memory. But now, he was here alive, broken and changed. And as his mother wept into his shoulder, the only thing he could think was, what if the portal never truly closed?